Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it. We'll talk about it inside. Ho, 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 scrappers. Merry Christmas. 5 days left. Last weekly report of the year. We want to thank you for tuning in, for commenting, for checking out our YouTube videos, for letting us know what you want us to talk about, for all the things you do, posting prices, downloading the app. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to everyone. Watch out in the coming days. We have our 2023 market recaps and our 2024 market previews on a multitude of metals. So check those out during the Christmas week. Those will start to come out on YouTube. So check those out and just go from there. But we're still not done with the year. So let's talk about what's happened in the last week or so, because it has been relatively substantial going into 2024. So last week, the Federal Reserve talked about interest rates, and they talked about potentially cutting interest rates in 2024. Why is that so important? Well, the market exploded. We've seen the stock market hitting record highs the last few days. And then we also saw that kind of go over and spill into the commodities sector. We've seen oil prices down into the low 70s, where in June 22, we saw them around 120 a barrel. So big substantial decreases there. Those decreases in oil and gas and diesel prices have led to cheaper transportation costs, which has led to cheaper processing costs for both scrap yards, domestic, international mills, smelting operations, foundries, etc. So cheaper fuel, cheaper energy will create more pricing for the commodities, the actual commodities themselves. So in the last week, we saw copper price up maybe 10 cents in the last week or so since the announcement. So if we can check out some of the prices, we have seen some of these markets jumping up, but they have been all over the place. And I have a couple of things that I will push out there and talk to you. In the last week, we saw markets up for copper by about 1% or so, right? Here's a crazy number though. In the entire year of 2023, copper prices from January 1st to today, December 20th, have only gone up 2.3%. And why is that important? Stock market's gone up more than that. NASDAQ has gone up more than that. Other trading platforms have gone up more than that. But they always call copper Dr. Copper for a reason, because it really is a good bellwether of what's happening overall in the markets. We're going to pull up a year-to-date copper market, just so we can look at it while we're talking about it. And you're going to see this little roller coaster that happened the first third of the year, right? But you can also see where we bottomed out at. Now, we did see the prices approaching 425, but now we have seen a little bit of a resurgence since October and November doldrums, but we're not seeing that huge price spring that we thought we were going to. Why is that? Because we still haven't seen the growth internationally. We haven't seen the commercial growth, the buildings. Again, when I drive and look at jobs, when I drive and talk to customers, I'm seeing buildings up all over the place. But what are they? They're residential units, apartment buildings, condos, and houses. And that's great, but that's where people live. That's not where things are being produced. That's not where the heavy amounts of metal are needed. So wood, concrete, some light wire like Romex and BX will of course be used inside of this construction, but it's not the major construction overhauls like a huge plant being built. So when we see, commercial integrations of factories and things like that, that's where we really look for these prices to jump. And we just haven't seen that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 24 when the rates start to get cut, because that makes it cheaper to borrow money. So maybe people will start to borrow more money again, go into some of these commercial projects and increase some of the commodities prices because we have a presidential election. And I'm not going into politics, but this is just what happens. The incumbent, right, wants the economy to do well in 2024. So more policies are going to be pushed towards that Interest rates going lower will help buoy that. And those are going to be the things that could be false positives on the market for a period of time, because while they might temporarily get pushed up, long term, we don't know what's going to happen between the clean energy push, which doesn't seem to be pushing as fast as it was because there's pushback from the consumer. So these are things that we'll talk about in some of the yearly recap videos as well, and you can check those out. We had a really cool video that we did the other day where there was a bunch of reactions to one of everyone's favorite scrappers, Thub, and he's one of my favorite scrappers as well. So I might have gone in there and I might have disagreed with a lot of things that he said, but it looks like we had some really nice reactions from it. So when I see a scrapper talking about how to make more money, right, we have different perspectives. I own a scrapyard, so I can't have the same perspective that scrappers have. So I was reacting to his video because there are some things that I wouldn't go and do and things like that. And we've made videos through iScrap ourselves showing you what ends are worth cutting aren't. But sometimes it's nice to get multiple opinions of things. Here, we'll bring the video up here. I watched about a 9-minute video, 10-minute video maybe, of him talking about 9 items not to save for scrap and some of my reactions. Now, I will do a better job pausing and commenting in between. Sometimes, again, I'm just because I'm behind the camera doesn't mean I'm good clicking around. But it was interesting, and as Thub has been one of our favorite scrappers to follow online and one of yours to follow. Been nice to hear and see what other people are doing. And I'm going to continue to react to videos like that so I can show you a scrapyard owner's opinion of what I think is not worth money scrapping. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some other metals, roundabouts will happen next week. But we did see a price jump on the catalytic inverter side of things. So, of course, prices brought to us by rrcats.com. We've been continuing to quote and hold quotes for 10 business days, free shipping on all OEM catalytic inverters, and we are waiving PayPal fees over $200 in transactions. Now, what's happened to the market the last week? Because the Federal Reserve talked about cutting those interest rates, we did see a bit of a price jump. We saw platinum in the last week up 1.5. We saw palladium go up 20%, and rhodium shot up about 2.5%. Those all led to the national averages for catalytic inverter prices to jump a few dollars. We're now around $83, $84 for an OEM cat, which is off of the lows we saw a couple of months ago, which is right around $75. Now, if you don't, haven't sold to RR cats before, first-time customers in December, even if you get quotes, we'll get a special bonus, but we do have those free shippings. PayPal fees waived over $200 a transaction. So just check those out. But the cap prices going into next year, market demand is going to be funny because we're starting to see a pushback of people buying electric vehicles. Why is that important for cats? Well, more catalytic converter precious metals are going to go into the new catalytic inverters. So the people that continue to buy combustible gas engines, diesels, having the particulate filters, etc., those catalytic converters are going to have more material packed into them. So the cars coming off of the lots helping to reduce emissions in the future, those are going to be very valuable cats because there's more materials in them. But here's some of the prices here. I take it back. The national average up towards $87 right now. So we're talking about a $12 per cat jump from the bottom of the market. If we could click on the national catalytic converter average real quick, we'll just look at where it is over the last 30 days. Again, all prices are provided by rrcats.com. But if we look at the low point yep, here we go, $71 we had right around November. So from 71 up to 87, not only are we running higher on our 30-day average, we've really come off of a nice, not a nice low, but the low that we've had, we've really come up nicely going into the new year. So make sure if you're scrapping those cars, check out the team at rrcats.com. And one thing that I don't really talk about often is O2 sensors. We have some great videos and great prices on O2 sensors, so please check that out as well. What else is going on? Nickel markets continuing to slump. This is a crazy number. Nickel prices this year are down 40.5%. So year over year, nickel prices in 2023 from January 1st to today down 40% overall. Now, when we click on 304 stainless and we see an average of 33 cents, that aligns with where the markets are. And when you see some of the prices, you can see all up and down the side that they've really been consistent the last few weeks and months. So nickel prices down so much, of course, that stinks for stainless steel recycling. But what we're hoping to have happen is a lot of these battery companies are moving away from lithium and towards nickel because of its price drop. When you have a metal go down 40%, maybe the nickel batteries don't hold the charges as well as the lithium ones do. But if they're 40% cheaper than they were to create and they have a 90% charge compared to lithium rates, that's okay. So we're hoping to see those nickel markets pick up in 24. This way we can start to see the demand being used in some of these electric vehicles, battery storage from renewable energy such as solar panels and wind farms. So it'll be interesting to see how this is used. And aluminum is another metal. Year to date, aluminum was down about 5%, a little over 5%. While we're down, we're up in the last week, over 4.5% in the last week, we're up. Still 52 weeks, we're down. So if we didn't see the increase last week, we would have had aluminum prices down over 11% in 2023. And unfortunately, that just led to prices really not going crazy. Sheet aluminum prices will pull up in a couple of seconds. We'll show you where those averages are, but they haven't really moved recently. Those sheet aluminum prices, painted siding, gutters, all those things, we haven't really seen movement. So we're looking here, we see a 30-day average of about 45 cents per pound. We see some market prices, 38, 40, 50, 41 cents, 47 cents. So that's where the market is. And that is a great place for you to make more money. We have a lot of videos on YouTube showing you how to upgrade your aluminum, learning about grades, learning about what to process, what not to process. Checking out our YouTube page for ways to make more money is going to help you out so much. So please check that out so you can make more money on your different types of aluminum scrap. Now, I'm going to pause on aluminum for a second, and I want to talk about a news story that popped in the last few days, and that's talking about U.S. Steel being purchased by a large Japanese company for over $14 billion. Why is this important? Well, it's important because U.S. Steel used to be one of the largest, if not the largest company in the world. Now we've seen U.S. Steel become, quote unquote, another company that produces material, but they haven't had nearly the value, exponential growth like Apple's and Google's, like the tech sector have. When you look at Apple with a market cap of 2 or 3 trillion, I've lost track, versus U.S. Steel of 14 billion, you say to yourself, wait a sec, U.S. Steel is selling a raw metal to people to make cars, technology, and other things, and their valuation is not even 1% that of Apple, just to show you how things have really changed in the last 15 to 30 years as technology has really become ingrained and into whatever we do nowadays. 15 years ago, I wouldn't be recording weekly videos. It just wouldn't be something on my list. I would leave it to Bloomberg. I would watch all the different business news outlets, but now it's something that we learn about and we can grow. But U.S. Steel, it's not going to affect the scrap market. They're still going to be operating all of their plants inside the United States, but it's now going to be owned by a Japanese parent. So they might make some changes to cut costs, increase output by new cost cutting ways. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I don't think the impact on the scrap market is going to be near what anyone thinks that it would be. It's really more of a cutting costs, making a better product for cheaper, which is the goal. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. So again, that was a big thing that kind of happened in the last week. Other than that, scrappers, gold prices up slightly. Year to date, they were up over 12%. Copper, we saw 2% up. But most of these metals for the year, and I'll just touch on cap prices briefly, platinum year to date down 29%. Rhodium year to date down 64%. Palladium year to date Excuse me, platinum was down 4%. I take that back. Platinum down 4%, palladium down 29%. So we've seen massive decreases in these markets, and we're going to talk about those in our recaps from 2023, along with our previews for 24. So check those out. Scrappers, this is Tom. Thank you for tuning in throughout the year. Your comments, your price reporting, your ideas for us to create content and videos to help you make more money in your scrap. If you're looking for a last-minute Christmas present, of course, you can buy something from the iScrap store, from magnets to t-shirts to phone cases, safety jackets, all types of sizes. Maybe it won't get there in time for Christmas, but
we do have a Scrappers holiday shopping list.
Oh, we have a blog that we produced for our Scrappers holiday list. So if you're looking to get things for the last minute scrapper, whether it's gloves, magnets, things like that, we have a really great blog that's online that you can check out. We'll throw a link on there as well. This way you can see what's going on in the scrapper world. So those last minute Christmas presents, hopefully you can fulfill. But Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in. Until January, scrappers, my name's Tom, and I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.